Emily's reputation preceded her across 17 star systems. The Varoth assassin had eliminated political rivals, crime lords, and even a rogue AI that had threatened an entire planetary collective. Her 4 arms moved with lethal precision, her violet skin seeming to absorb light itself, and her 6 eyes missed nothing. When Emily accepted a contract, the target was already dead. They just didn't know it yet. The job on Proxima Station seemed routine. A human smuggler named Staven had stolen classified military schematics and was selling them to the highest bidder. The contract was simple: eliminate him, retrieve the data, leave no witnesses. Emily had done this hundreds of times. She infiltrated Staven's cargo ship with practiced ease, her form slipping through shadows like smoke. The ship was surprisingly cluttered, not with weapons or security systems, but with children's toys, scattered ration packs, and what appeared to be hand-drawn pictures taped to the walls. Emily's tactical mind registered the anomaly but dismissed it. Humans were known for their sentimentality. She found Staven in the cargo bay, but he wasn't alone. A small human child, no more than 2 years old by Emily's estimation, sat beside him as he worked on a data pad. The child had dark curls and wore an oversized jacket, playing with a stuffed animal that had seen better days. "I know you're there," Staven said quietly, not looking up. His voice carried no fear, only resignation. "I've been expecting someone like you." Emily emerged from the shadows, plasma pistol trained on his head. "The schematics, now." Staven slowly raised his hands, gesturing to the data pad. "They're right here. But before you kill me, you need to know, I didn't steal military secrets, I stole vaccination formulas." "Irrelevant," Emily said, though her eyes flickered to the child. "The Galactic Health Consortium is withholding the cure for redshift fever from frontier colonies. Too expensive, they say. Not profitable. My daughter," his voice cracked, "she contracted it 6 months ago. So did thousands of other human children on the Outer Rim. I couldn't watch them die." The small girl looked up at Emily with wide, curious eyes. She should have been afraid of the 4-armed alien with a weapon, but instead she smiled. "Pretty," she said, reaching toward Emily's violet skin. "Staven, I assume," Emily said coldly, ignoring the child. "Your motivations don't concern me." "Then shoot," Staven said, spreading his arms. "But she comes with me. My wife died last year. There's no one else. If I'm dead, she goes into the system, and you know what happens to orphaned human children on stations like this." Emily did know. She'd seen it on a dozen worlds. The galaxy wasn't kind to the vulnerable. The child toddled toward Emily, her balance uncertain. Staven moved to grab her, but Emily's second pistol was already trained on him. "Don't." The little girl reached Emily and grabbed one of her lower arms with tiny fingers. She looked up with that same fearless smile and said, "Mama?" Something ancient and long-buried stirred in Emily's chest. The Vareth had been a warrior species for millennia, but they had also been a communal one. Before the wars, before the assassin guilds, before Emily had been taken and trained to kill, there had been families, children, belonging. "I'm not your mama," Emily said, her voice softer than she'd intended. "Mama," the child insisted, hugging Emily's leg. Staven watched the exchange with the desperate hope of a dying man. "Her name is Maya. She's 2.5. She likes strawberries, synthetic ones since we can't afford real food. She's afraid of the dark, so I always leave a light on. She—" "Stop talking," Emily commanded. Her multiple hands trembled slightly, one still holding the gun, another unconsciously resting on the child's head, another clutching the data chip, the fourth hanging uselessly at her side. She should complete the mission. She'd killed for less. The contractor was a pharmaceutical executive who wanted the stolen formulas destroyed, and the thief made an example. It would be clean, professional. Maya looked up at her and giggled. Emily's primary eyes closed. When they opened, something had shifted in her that could never be undone. "The schematics are destroyed," Emily said, crushing the data chip in her palm. "Staven the smuggler died in an engine explosion. His ship was vaporized. No survivors." Staven's eyes widened. "What are you—" "You're dead," Emily repeated firmly. "Whatever life you had before ends today. You'll need new identities, new documents. I know a forger on Titan's third moon who owes me a favor." "Why?" Staven whispered. Emily knelt down to Maya's level, all 6 eyes focusing on the small human. The child reached out and touched Emily's face with sticky fingers, completely unafraid. "Because she called me Mama," Emily said simply. "And because I remember what it was like to be part of something beyond killing." She stood and began accessing the ship's navigation systems. "The vaccine formula. Did you make copies?" 57 separate backdrops across the dark net, Staven admitted. "By now a dozen frontier doctors have it." "Good. Then those children will live." Emily input new coordinates. "We're going to disappear for a while. There's a human colony on Kepler 442b that doesn't ask questions. I have resources. You'll be safe there." "I can't ask you to—" "You're not asking. I'm telling you." Emily's 4 hands moved across the controls with lethal efficiency, now repurposed for protection rather than destruction. Besides, someone needs to teach Maya that not all 4-armed aliens are as soft as I apparently am. Maya had fallen asleep against Emily's leg. The stuffed animal clutched to her chest. Staven looked at them both, the galaxy's most feared assassin and his daughter, and laughed weakly. "They're going to come looking for you. Your contractor won't accept failure." "Let them come," Emily said, and there was something terrifying in her voice that reminded Staven exactly who he was dealing with. "I've spent my life being feared. Perhaps it's time I was feared for protecting something rather than destroying it." As the ship jumped to hyperspace, Emily looked down at the sleeping child and felt something she hadn't experienced in decades. Purpose. Not the hollow purpose of a mission or a contract, but something real, something worth fighting for. Maya stirred in her sleep and mumbled, "Mama." This time, Emily didn't correct her.